This light is driving me nuts. If I turn it off, am I?
Okay, we're live. Yay.
Oh, I'm super dark.
Yeah.
Welcome to January Buddy Read, everybody.
Yay!
Or Amber is momentarily late.
She's trying.
But she'll be here. She'll be here.
Technical difficulties.
Always.
Yeah.
Poor thing, man.
Where she lives. It's all good.
It's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hi, Megan.
Hey, Megan.
Welcome.
All right.
Today, okay, our book for January was The Tryst by Lauren Blakely. Have you guys read Lauren Blakely?
I don't know that I have. Like, I know her name. I know her books. I don't know that I've read. If I haven't, it hasn't been too many of her books.
Okay.
I have.
You have?
I have. Mm-hmm.
How many of you?
I really like her.
Yeah, I like her writing a lot. What have you read by her?
I'm just looking that up right now because I cannot for the life of me think of a title off the top of my head. Yeah. But I know I've read quite a few of her books.
Okay, so you've read more than I have. I've only read one other book, and I gave it a 5-star. I really liked it. It was part of the Big Rock series. It was called Mr. O.
Oh.
It was really cute. It was a best friend's sister.
Okay.
And he's like, he apparently like helps women sexually. Like that's his thing. And so when she approaches him to help her be an expert, like, and just be better with sex, he's like, well, how can I get her to be like mine? Because I've had a crush on her forever. But it was just the banter. It was really cute. I really enjoyed her writing on this. So I was really excited about The Tryst.
Yeah. So
I read The Good Guy Challenge, which was a 5-star read.
Mm-hmm.
I read Special Delivery, 4-star. One of Those Things, 4-star. Every Second with You, 4-star. My Sinful Nights, 4-star. Unzipped, 4-star. Lucky Suit, 4-star. So that's like, and then there's some more.
I really enjoy her writing.
Me too. Very easy to read.
Yeah.
Definitely like kind of that palate cleanser. Like if you're kind of stuck and not sure what to read, she's a great author just to pick up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I read a pretty intense series this last week and I finished it last night. And I started her book yesterday afternoon and then paused it and then finished it this morning. And it was just what I needed not to get into a big book slump. So
yeah. Okay, that was good. Yeah. So what was your rating, Jessica?
Solid 4.5. I haven't, I enjoyed it a lot. I can really appreciate that I listened to it. Teddy Hamilton narrated it.
Oh, okay.
That makes me happy as a clam on Sunday. Teddy Hamilton did it for me. I was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was 4. It was a solid 4.
I could see his voice as a Nick for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see his voice for anything. But yes, pretty much. Yeah. Mandy?
I'm at a 4.5, but kind of leaning towards the 5. Sometimes when I do 4.5, I'll do I just give it a 4-star. But I think it's more than a 4-star, but I don't know that it's going to go down as like my favorite book of all time. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed it. But I think for me, for that like age gap, ex's best friend, there would have had to have been like a little more angst for that. David was pretty laid back, like great character. So they worked through that a lot more quickly than other books typically do in that scenario.
Yeah.
How about you, Jen?
Oh, well, I'm almost where Megan was. I flip-flop back and forth because I was like, it could be a 4, but I had a couple problems with it, so I'm giving it a 3.5. Because I really, really liked. I love her writing. Like that wasn't the problem. It's just I didn't buy the whole. Now I know that the series is called. It's like the Virgin Society, so obviously she was going to be a virgin, but I didn't buy it. Like she just didn't seem like a virgin to me.
Mm-mm.
I don't know why you would wait 23 years and then just give it up for a one-night stand. Like that just doesn't make sense to me. And then like she just didn't seem. I feel like it would have been better if maybe she had had like one partner, kind of like Hawk. You have one partner and he just is not doing it for you, and then you're like, holy shit, what have I been missing? Like that would have been more believable. And then when we hit the 85-ish mark and they finally got together and all things were just beautiful for them, I was bored with the rest of the book. It was just wrapping everything up, and I'm like, I could have been in an epilogue, but I don't know. I was a little bored, so I feel really bad because I loved Mr. O. It won't be my last book by her. I was a bit bored.
Yeah,
I put a 4 in our. I don't know. Am I holding it up right? I'm doing it wrong. I gave it a 4.
What? What'd you say, Jen?
I love how she wrote all that. Like, I know that's one of your books, but I like how she's put everything in it. I love it.
It just gives you just the right amount of information. So here was my problem and why it really wasn't higher than like a 4, you know, it was somewhere in there. I mean, I just finished it not too long ago, so I'm still kind of ruminating on it. But if she didn't sleep with the son, right? What's the big deal?
Why was it a big deal?
Why was it a big deal?
I feel like
about the angst was missing.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it didn't. I don't know why it was a big deal for David. Like it shouldn't have been. It was just they fell in love. It wasn't like they did it behind his back. They didn't know. But I think like it could have been a 4, maybe bumped up for you because Teddy Hamilton.
It was Teddy Hamilton. Let's be honest. It was Teddy Hamilton. Come on. Yeah. I mean, having that man growling in my ear works for me.
Oh yeah, you can growl anytime.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, Megan said she got bored as well.
I didn't get bored in it, but I listened to it, and I listened to it at 3.5, and so that probably keeps it from lagging on because, like, Teddy's talking pretty fast. I really enjoyed both narrators for it.
Yeah. Megan, I think because I think for me, because I listened to it so fast, I didn't recognize the pet as much as you did. But again, Teddy Hamilton can call me whatever he wants, and I'm going to be fine with it.
But she called her friend's pet, and I feel like she was like my pet, and I feel like
that thing
they could have explained that a bit more because I mean just. I don't know, like that didn't seem like her personality to me either. So I kind of agree with Megan as well. Like, I mean, it didn't take away, but it was annoying. Amber!
Hi, guys! It happened again.
Look at that.
Did you find a cop to park next to again?
No, it's like dead at the library and out in like my little small town area right now. Hopefully there'll be a cop walk by this time. I don't know, maybe a firefighter.
If that happens, you need to flip the camera around, okay? We all.
I know. Oh, what did I miss? Did you guys already give your ratings?
We did.
Yes,
we did. So now it's to you. You want to hear ours?
I don't know. I debated on my rating. I kind of went back and forth. I was thinking like 4.5 or 5. I think I'm going to say 4.5 because I don't know if it's a full like 5-star for me, but like I really enjoyed it. I mean, there was like little things like I kind of thought like they weren't really full boyfriend girlfriend to me. Like I didn't see the issue. Like they never had sex. They were together for like 4 months. So I'm like, I didn't see that not telling right at that thing. And I get you have to kind of create the angst or whatever, but I'm like, why are we keeping this a secret? Because he's just one of your best friends.
Yeah.
So that was the only thing I kind of was like, oh, it didn't really need to even be a thing. But I liked it. I thought the beginning, like the dirty talk, banter, like him kind of like wooing her on a one-night stand. I was like, hell yeah, you know.
Yes.
So all that was like, I was like at a 5-star in the beginning. I was like, this is hot. This is like, I could feel their connection. I just kind of was like, why are we even hiding it? I don't know.
Did you read it or listen to it?
I read it.
Oh,
and I wished I would have listened to it because I was going to do it. I think it was Teddy Hamilton, right?
It was.
Yeah.
And when I was reading the dirty talk, I'm like, why did I not get Teddy Hamilton? So I wish I would have used a credit on it or something because I could I was like, ooh, this is hot. Like in Teddy Hamilton, I've heard the audio. She does really good audiobooks too. So
the female narrator is great too. I like her. I can't remember who it was.
Mm-hmm.
I like her a lot as a female narrator.
Did you guys all listen to it?
No,
Mandy and I
I
did.
didn't. But see, I think if I would have listened to it, I feel like I would have given it a higher rating.
Yeah.
I listened to Mr. O, and it was fantastic. But yeah, I think it was just because I had some issues with it. So,
Mhm.
What
I
did you
need to
guys
go
give it?
read Mr. O now.
oh my, I really liked it. Now I read that in 2020, so my tastes have changed. I had to go back and like read what I had put for it because I was like, man, that's been a while. So
Vanessa Edwin was the female narrator.
I'm sorry, I'm reading Megan's thing about the pet thing. I was like, why does she do that? Like, and then she says it to like her viewers, but then she says it to like her friends. I'm like, can you not call them pet?
I just didn't.
Hello, my pets.
Honestly, I think it gives us Sophie Lark trauma when we get pet.
Oh yeah. Remember, I liked that.
I
the
know,
pet
but it
play
gave
and
me a little bit of trauma, a little bit of Kit Kat trauma.
Now I would have been okay if like maybe he called her pet or something like that.
That's
You
what
know?
I was
Yeah.
thinking. I totally forgot that she called her friends pets.
But I mean,
Yeah, it bugged me for a second, and then I kind of was like, oh, whatever. You know, it's one little thing. It didn't
Yeah, it
like
wasn't-
totally.
I think
wasn't
it's pretty
like-
common. Like in England,
Yeah.
they use that a
Oh,
lot. And
hell's
so
bells. I'm going to start calling you pet.
probably what?
We'll
She
start
just
calling
called
you
you
pet
pet, Mom,
then.
honey.
Oh.
Oh,
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 she might have
cop
hit
must have
something.
walked by.
Yeah,
She's like, I'm out of here.
I'm
I
sorry,
would think
Mandy.
though, with how many books she has written, it probably you start to feel the need to get more creative in certain situations and do something more unique for certain characters. Otherwise, you end up just kind of, I mean, we've all read those authors where you know exactly what's going to happen in their books because the same, like, you know, it's always got the pregnancy trope or it always has this,
Yeah.
you know. So I think that you have to
Tell
start
me.
getting more creative.
yeah.
Right, probably.
I absolutely. I mean, I really enjoyed. Really, I mean, I think I read another book where she was like a co-writer or something. Like I've enjoyed her writing, and like you said before, it's very palate cleansing. I would go to her for something like that. I'm not shying away just because it just, I don't know. It just I had a couple issues with this, but like the connection between those two, I felt they needed to be together.
Yes.
I just like I feel like the last 15%. I didn't really need. They were together. So I was like,
I think that's what my mom said too. She was like, it kind of just dragged on in the end.
Yeah.
Like
kind of, yeah.
it like
So
was taking, you know.
that's why I bumped
What did you guys all rate it? Because I missed that part.
Jessica rated it a 4 or 4.5. 4.
Oh, we'll stick with a 4. A 4.
Yeah.
Solid 4.
Yeah.
I put in my book a 4, but on this I said it was like I was feeling kind of 4.5, but usually I end up marking it as a 4. So then but Jessica always tells me she always rounds up when she does that. But I
Yeah.
don't know that I want to put it as a 5 because it's definitely not like my all-time favorite book, but it was
Yeah.
still really good. It's
Yeah.
better than
I
some
think it
other
was
books I've
fun, you
rated
know?
before.
It was fun. It was.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And Jen,
It
you gave
was
it what?
a
I
good
gave
listen.
I gave it a 3.5.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I
Three's
did
still good.
enjoy it. That wasn't that I didn't enjoy it. I just had some things that just irritated me, and
Mhm.
I was like, should I give it a 3.75? And I'm like, no, like it is like 4, but I just had some problems, so I'm like, I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I really liked I liked the connection, and I liked a lot of things, but I just didn't buy the whole virgin thing. I didn't buy that.
Jessica
Well, and I think we're all
hadn't
kind of
finished-
tired of the virgin thing.
Mm.
I mean, I don't mind. I don't know. It's
I
I mean,
like things.
yeah, I'm okay with it, but she just didn't seem like one to me. And
Yeah.
I just
Well, that's what kind of put me off in the beginning because she was very like confident and like come off sexual. And so I'm like, wait, she's a virgin? Like
right.
she's like full on like going up to like an older guy and being kind of aggressive. Like that I wish I had the balls to do that. And I was like, oh, and she's a virgin and she's like crossing her legs and doing stuff to get his attention and going right up to him right off the bat. And I was like, oh, I thought she was like a sexually confident like
Well, and most
woman.
girls who
So
are
that kind of put
virgins
me off.
don't jump on and on the horsey ride right away.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and
Mhm.
then you go immediately. That's what I told my husband. I was like, and then she just goes right on top, and then they have
And
four orgasms, and I was like, no, I'm sorry, but like the vagina doesn't work like that, y'all. Come on.
Well, like I was just watching your guys' X video, and I had to stop because we had to go to this live show, and I got to do one of those because I have so many pet peeves. But this is one of my pet peeves. It's like my biggest thing is like when they have a one night stand and they're a virgin, and yet they do it like 4 times in the night, and it's like when I first had sex, it was one time, and then I had to heal
0
up. Like
times.
I'm tired. I'm tired of,
Yeah.
or like I read it so much where they're like, and they're like totally into the sex, and so it's like, no, it's not like that your first time.
Awkward
So,
and weird and
so
virgins
I
do
just,
not get off the first time. Sorry, you just don't.
mm-mm.
It's ew. And they're like, oh yeah, and the pain goes away quickly. Really?
Yeah, no.
Not for me. Not for
me.
Especially when they're all so big, you know, like the hero. So it's like, well, no, if he was average, maybe he'd be okay. Mandy's like,
We read a book like this before though. Wasn't it the Megan Quinn book, that our first buddy read book, where he was pierced, but he wasn't like sleeping with
yeah,
anybody? And it's like, but why are
Why
you
would you care?
pierced
Mm-hmm.
and doing things like
yeah,
your life and your actions are not
they
making
don't. Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was kind of this way too.
Yeah.
I agree.
yeah,
I mean, even if you are, I just feel like because I don't want to like put any stereotypes on people, but when you are sexually active, you come into your sexuality a little bit more. So she doesn't understand her sexuality because she doesn't really know it. Even if you have toys that you're playing with, or you've done things with other things that you've done, you still haven't really come into your sexuality yet. So for her
No,
to be so
very bit different.
aggressive like she was, I was put off by that because I was like,
Mhm.
wait, that's why I'm saying if you would have had a partner that just didn't do it for you, but you had that experience, I would be like, okay, this would have been an absolute like 4.5 star for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love their connection. It was just a couple things, like I said, that just turned me off just a little bit.
And
I try
and
not to dwell on that and just kind of kept going with
Yeah.
it. So if you just
yeah.
didn't think about
Yeah.
that
I
part,
kind of
it
just
was
expected it with
fine.
when I saw it was like the series
Yeah.
name, like the Virgin
Yeah.
thing. I go, okay, it's going to be one of the things that is my pet peeve, but it wasn't as bad as other books that do
No,
it,
it
Yeah.
wasn't.
you
Yeah.
know.
This
But
isn't the first book that does it. A lot of the books do this. I mean, a lot, 90% of what we read.
With
yeah,
the exception
So,
of the series name and like a few little blurbs, it really isn't even thought of at all in the book. Like it's like she
yeah,
is, but then once things happen, it really doesn't seem like that's happening anymore. But
yeah.
Jessica hadn't finished the book yesterday when we were talking, and she's
Mhm.
like been in this series. So I told her, I'm like, I've got you.
Binging.
Just say you really liked their chemistry.
You
But she
also
did
told me
finish it. But that was kind of a sticking point, I think, for this book is their chemistry. Lauren Blakely got that right in this
Yeah.
book. The
yeah.
she
chemistry was
did. She
really
did. She
good.
did.
I love
And the
the banter
narrators.
because banter doesn't always work for me, you know? Like
Yeah.
some of the
Yeah.
banter always feels so forced. And so I actually really like the banter, and I felt their sexual like chemistry right off in the beginning.
Hmm.
So, and I really liked the hero a lot.
Yeah.
So, and I
I
thought
love
that they handled things like they were more mature characters, like when the stuff goes on with his son, like his son doesn't stay
Hmm.
mad forever. It's like a day, and then they have a good discussion. It's mostly about his dad lying to him. And so I'm like, I liked that. That's why I was like, why didn't you just tell him
from the get-go.
at the diner?
Well,
Yeah.
and
I
Like,
liked that it wasn't about like, oh, she's my friend, you can't have her type thing,
Yeah.
or she's my
yeah,
ex, you can't have her. It
yeah.
was more of a why didn't you just tell me type
Because
Yeah.
yeah.
thing.
also he's in love with somebody else. So I'm like, why are you not?
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
have a girlfriend
And
who
then
you're
it
about
just
to
takes
propose
him a
to.
few days and he gets over it, which
Get
would be
over
a
it.
fairly typical normal response. But
Absolutely.
sometimes this is what I hate in age gaps is when we get to that point and then the heroine or the hero decides, oh, well, we just can't be together. And then they're apart for like X amount of
Yeah.
months or years. And then we pick the story back up. I hate that. So I liked that we worked through it. He was upset for a few days, but there was like no life altering decisions or
Yeah.
breakups that needed to happen.
That's what I liked about the hero when he was like, I'm all in, no
Mhm.
matter how he reacts, like we're together.
Yeah.
And so I
Mhm.
liked that where it wasn't going to be like, oh, well, my son doesn't want us to be together. So like he was like, I'm in from here out. Like, so whatever happens, but we're a couple. And so I
Yeah.
really liked that. It was mature, you know, it felt
Mhm.
realistic.
I would have liked to have seen more of his, because he's like obsessed with her, and he has those like moments where he talks about his obsession and how he can be obsessive about certain things, and he has to be
Yeah.
careful because he might become obsessed with her. And I was like, okay, I kind of want to see that over at the top.
Can we see that happen? That would
Yeah.
be great.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I just also I wish that I don't know, that last part of it, I got bored with, because I loved it that they were together, and I don't know, like we could have had more of that, but
I kind of feel like authors are like dragging books out now too, because they need like the higher page count with like Kindle Unlimited and all those things, where I'm like, a lot of books I've been reading lately, I'm like, this could have been like 80 to 100 pages shorter and been like perfect. But it's like now you have books that are like, this wasn't one, but like some of them are like almost like 600 pages,
Yeah.
and you're like, why? Like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, because I was thinking when I was reading it, I was like, because I finished it this morning, and I go, okay, I'm ready for this to be over, because I want to finish this other book that I'm reading, so I can get to this book. But then I thought immediately, I was like, it was so completely opposite when I was reading something like The Lovely Return, where I was like, don't end,
Yeah.
yeah.
I want more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It's hard when you're thinking about the next book. Like I have way too many arcs this month, and I have way too many next month. And I'm like, I got to slow down and be mindful when I request arcs, because I was like so stressed out. I'm like, I have so many arcs to get to. And so like, I'm thinking about that, you know, and then you're like not
Right.
appreciating the book you're reading.
Away from the book. Yeah. Which I
Yeah.
think is a little bit of what happened this month too. I mean, it has nothing to do with her writing or anything. Cause I mean,
yeah, I liked it. It was my first book by her, so I really enjoyed it. I'll definitely keep giving her a chance. You know, like I enjoyed it.
I want to read her new series, that new book that she came out with, the Pucked or whatever. I can't remember what it's called, but I want to.
I have that one already downloaded.
Yeah.
I just haven't read it yet because I've got.
Wait, she
all
has
these other
another new book? I thought this was her newest series, because this one just came out like in
April.
I thought it came out like a year ago, right?
It came out
Oh,
April.
so she had
Oh, okay.
another one that came out in the Virgin Society. I think it came out in August, the end of August,
Yeah.
September.
That one's the tease. That one's his brother, Flynn, and his
the
best friend's daughter. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was like
So
interested
what's
in that
her
setup. I was
newest
like, that
book,
sounds
though?
good.
It's a hockey series.
Yeah, it's one of those cartoon cover ones.
Damn the cartoon covers.
I probably went right.
I want to
past
read.
it
I
then.
think it has some. Yeah, it has something to do with hockey. But I knew I wanted to read that.
That's what, like, I know. I just read the arc for Serena Ackroyd does this hockey series now as like G.A. Mizuki or whatever. I read the first one and I was like annoyed because I had a cartoon cover, and I'm like, I know Serena Ackroyd is not like, she writes dark stuff, but she did like alternate men covers too. So I was like, okay.
None of Serena Ackroyd's covers should ever have
really Puck
cartoon cover. Yeah, that's the one I have.
Oh yeah, that kept coming up on my on my Kindle thing.
Now, apparently this one is like got really good spice in it too, which I mean, she can definitely do some. I mean, I was really.
Her spice was great.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. So, what?
It's two hockey players and their best friend's little sister.
It's MFM. You're good. It's all good.
No.
Oh, it is. I didn't see that. Oh,
I don't like. I like two people.
Me too.
I like MMF. Do the guys get together, or is there MFM? Because I want sword crossing.
MFM or MMF, Mandy?
I'm looking. It said, so it's when I click on new releases, Thoroughly Pucked is the one that comes up.
Mm-hmm.
It's the third book in the My Hockey Romance. Is that what you're talking about, Jen?
Yeah, that's the newest one.
It says 2-star hockey players and their best friend's little sister in a runaway bride rom-com. Well, Jessica's out now.
Do you not like Runaway Brides? No, I don't like Best Friend Sister.
Oh yeah,
rom-com. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, I got a 700+ page book I got to get through. Like now. So we're okay.
The last thing I should be thinking on my former wedding day is that my brother's best friends are hot.
There's only one bed and there's 3 of them.
Yeah, it says, yeah.
Well,
see?
damn.
Oh, here it is. So at the very end, it says, thoroughly pucked as a standalone hockey brother's best friend's runaway bride MFM romance with the guaranteed why choose style.
Amber.
Kia and Amber, you're out. No swords crossed.
No,
I'll read those, but I want some sword crossing.
I'm not a why. I mean, I'll read a why choose, but I'm not gonna jump at the chance.
Now
I
wait
don't
a
like
second.
them.
Pam
I'm
Godwin's
picky about my
newest
white
one
shoes.
is
Like
White
it, like
Shoes. You gonna read it?
Which one? The
Pam
trilogy?
Godwin's new one that's coming out. Yeah.
I mean, it's Pam Godwin now, so I will read anything that woman writes.
So you
And
guys
it's
want to know what
Alaska.
I'm reading right now?
Are you reading it?
I'm beta reading it.
Shut up!
You
Because I'm
are,
Alaskan.
you bitch.
I signed up.
I got it.
I am so jealous,
But
dude.
it's because I'm from Alaska, and she needed those of us who are from Alaska to beta read it to make sure
Oh.
that she does Alaska right. So I have
Damn it.
it's over 700 pages at this point.
Jessica was getting
No, I haven't checked my
so pissed because Pam was asking for people who had lived in Alaska, and Jessica lived a significant amount of years in Alaska as a child and as an adult. And people were like, I'm from North Dakota. It snows here all the time. I'm from Michigan. We get snow.
Like, it's
And
not the same.
Jessica's like, oh my gosh.
Because it's true. It's not the same.
They're just trying their best to get that beta read.
They are the poor things. I'm sorry. I was stressing.
I've heard of this actually, Megan.
I just read this. I did a post recently because I read the arc. Tessa Hill actually reached out to me, and she provided the ALC too. And the audiobook has a full cast, including Teddy Hamilton, I think like Joe Arden. Like the audiobook was amazing.
Is that the one?
And it's really quick because it's going to be like a whole series where they're dragon shifters.
No, wait. What? Is that the one where it's post-apocalyptic? Is that what Twilight of Embers is? Is that what I read this week?
No, it's Tessa Hill, and it's a dragon shifter white shoes romance, and it's like the first book in the series. It just released. And the audiobook was so good.
I'll pass on that.
I'm not sure.
I'll pass.
That was the other thing I told Jessica when last night when we were talking and she hadn't finished the book. I'm like, say you really enjoyed the chemistry and you really liked the shifter.
I was like, even I know that in Lauren Blakely's there is no shifters. Come on.
That would have been messed up.
She's like dead serious. They had great chemistry and I really enjoyed the shifter.
I should have done that, but no.
The rest of our live would have just been me with my head down laughing so hard that I had tears.
That would have been a good prank.
It'd been great, but I'm a good girl. I read the book, so I read the book. I was so stuck in this trilogy that I read this week, and each book was like 400 plus pages. That and there was no audio. Like I was in, and I was immersed. It was like something that I've never read anything like it. I was so sucked into this trilogy. So I was like, I have to finish this before I can get to that, but I have to finish these books. It's all I could think about for days. So, yeah.
What was this trilogy?
It was a trilogy. It's Spark of Madness is the first one, the first book by Bryn Ford. And it's like, it's a dystopian type situation. It takes place in like 2180 something. And it combines like The Handmaid's Tale with M. Night Shyamalan's Village. You know that movie, The Village? I cannot say his name. The Village, and you even get like because there's trials, so it feels like almost like Hunger Games in there as well. Yeah. And it's a combination of all of those things and just the angst. Like you were just feeling the emotions through the whole book. Like you're like, how the hell is this?
Is it the same character for like all 3 books, or are they like
same characters? Okay. So she's kind of like that character from The Handmaid's Tale, almost like, kind of where she has to serve guys. And he is like her warden because she gets in trouble and has to go through these trials and she's not supposed to.
I gotta read this.
It is so good. Her writing is phenomenal. And this is the shortest one. I think this one's 300.
What's the first one called?
Spark of Madness. They're on KU.
Awesome. Because like I need to read new authors. That's like one of my goals this year. So like I've never read this author. So like I gotta
She's
check
got
that out.
a Mafia series and then this one. And like I said, there's nothing, I haven't, this was like one of those hidden gems that you find and you're like, where has this been? Where's it been?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so
cool.
good. Yeah. So anyhow, good job, Megan.
Yeah, me too, Megan. Because I love post-apocalyptic stuff too. So
yeah, and it's very cult vibes too, because they're in like this religious cult and they're doing this all because that's what God told them to do, kind of thing. So yeah, but it's so good. So yeah, what's everybody else reading right now?
I'm just finishing up Kay Webster's The Smoke, whatever. I think it's Heart of Smoke or whatever. It's the third one in that series. I didn't read the other two books, and now I want to go back and read it. I started reading it last night, and I couldn't go to bed.
You haven't read the other two.
Just not okay.
Yeah.
I know. I need to buy them because like they're not Kindle Unlimited, so that's why I haven't got them yet.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't want to pay for an ebook, so I want to buy the physical book. So I'll probably just go on her website and buy those, because when I'm seeing about like how the stepdad and son share the stepdaughter, I was like, okay, that's made for me, student teacher. And then like this one's a male one where it's like their brother who was like had burned and he like wears a mask and stuff, and his therapist, and I could not put it down. There's just something about Kay Webster's writing. It's so easy. It sucks you in. Like I was up till like 2 and I'm like, okay, I gotta go to bed. So I'm like, I think I'm like at 90%, 80% right now. Like I was like, I can't stop reading this.
Yeah. Megan's reading Loving Romeo by Laura Pavlov. I wanted to read that this month, but I haven't done it.
I've been seeing that a lot all over.
Me too.
I like Laura Pavlov.
I still haven't read it.
I've never read her either. No. Like I haven't read a lot of these popular authors.
She's a good author, and for me, she's a little more intense than a palate cleanser, like a little more intense than what we read in this book.
I thought she did like Small Town.
Some of it is, yeah. A lot of it.
Okay.
A lot of it is, but it's just more. Yeah, I really enjoyed her stuff that I've read. So is Mandy.
Yeah. We have February's book picked, but your March, you should dive into her. Pick one of her books.
Oh, that is really hard to do, Megan. I love it when it's not annoying and actually has a purpose.
A good part of the story that you care about them. Like that's hard.
And they're not like just go away because you're annoying.
Yeah. And
what were you reading, Jen?
What'd you say?
I said, are sleeping all the time. You know, they're taking a nap again to get them out of it.
They're never there, but they're like brought up all the time. Like, where are the kids? It reminds me of like soap operas where they're like, they have like these grown ass kids, but they're like, or like they'll have like little kids, and then you never see them in soap operas, and then all of a sudden they're there. I'm like, oh yeah, they have kids. Yes. I totally forgot.
Yep.
In soap operas, that has more to do with child acting laws.
Yeah.
In books, there's really no excuse for them to disappear like that.
It's just lazy
Melanie
writing.
Harlow's Ignite does a fantastic job with the single dad with 2 little girls that are hilarious, that are totally the book. And it's so good.
That's another author I haven't read that I need to read.
Amber.
But I wanted to start at the beginning of like that series because I hear so much about Ignite. But I feel like I need to start at the beginning.
I haven't read Ignite.
Combined, like instead of Mandy and I doing the convincing my bestie, we should do the whole convincing each other, and you have to choose from a couple of our favorite books to read.
Yeah.
Each one of us, the 4 of us. And then
that'd be a fun video.
That would be a fun video too. Yeah. We'll put that on the list of things to think about.
Anna's would be really easy. The Teacher of Nothing, The Tangle of Awful, Ignite. Let's see. Anything Laura Pavlov. Like
I haven't
There's so much. I just feel like there's so much I need to read. It's never ending.
There's so much out there. And I asked in one of my dark romance reading groups the other day, like, who are authors that are underrated that you would like to see get more hype? And the list was as long as my arm, and I hadn't even heard of 99% of these authors. I'm like, crap, there's so many out there. Yeah. So
there's so many indie authors that need like, some love and attention. It's hard.
It is hard, especially, I have a series, or not a series, but I guess it's part of a series, but a video that I want to do. And I'm that's what the start of That Sick Love is. It's one of those books. So I'm like really excited to get to those.
That's the other author I'm finally going to be reading this year because I did that 12 Rex and I got 2 by Jesky Hall on the Rex. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm finally going to do it.
Like
I listened to Hawk this week. And Jen, you love Hawk.
I couldn't believe that she's like a new breakout author. I was like, damn woman. Okay. I love Hawk.
Hawk was good.
So I have Hawk and then Sick Love, both on my like 12 Rex. So I'll definitely be reading those. I was thinking about you, Jessica, because in that Serena Ackroyd hockey romance that I was reading, the guy is like obsessed with like reading romance. So it's like kind of like a tribute to all us romance girls, and he loves Omegaverse, and like he got like a Cochrane to like do. He's like, oh, I'm nodding, take my knot.
God.
Nodding is that?
I was like, oh my God, this is made for like.
Yeah,
all those girls that love that,
something I'm not like privy to, or
in Omegaverse, think of dogs.
So they nod like the nodding.
There you go. They get stuck together.
Yeah. Okay.
I hate to use that, but that's what it's like. It's like
Okay.
I should say wolves, not dogs. That would help.
Or like it's like the werewolves or like shifters.
And not every Omegaverse has that.
I love
the
nodding.
Good ones do. If I'm rating it, it had better have that.
Jen, quickly bring this back.
You were reading?
Lost control of the video.
You said what you were reading every single time. We go back to
Okay, Andy, what are you reading?
Andy, what are you reading?
I'm actually reading The Heart of Smoke too.
There you go.
Oh, awesome. Are you liking it?
I just started. Okay. It.
Yeah.
You guys are into male, are you?
What?
Do you guys like male? Because I thought, or did you? Oh, Jessica
doesn't care for it, and I will read it.
Yeah, I don't care either way.
I don't know that I necessarily seek it out, but
if you do, like Marley Valentine does really good MM. And
I'll have to check that out.
It's really like
I rediscovered I loved last year. I was like, whoa, like I love this.
Like, she's a little bit different than what you were liking last year, but she's really emotional. What We Broke broke me. That book, oh my God. Like those two men, oh my God.
And I don't mind it if it's like in a reverse harem situation or a MMF situation. There just has to be V with my P. That's all. I just need V.
You need the V in there.
I did not miss the V with them. They were. It's just. It was so. It was. Yeah, you got to read that one. It's very. If you want an emotional book, Marley Valentine.
Yeah. I've seen that one floating around. It's actually that Aussie bookstore has it, the Australian one. And every time I go, like it deceives me because it's got pictures of 2 wedding rings on there, and I'm like, wait, it's MM.
I wasn't quite for sure, but I mean, it made me cry. These two just went through it, and they just like them trying to get back to it. Like you see them, and then like through flashbacks, you see how they met, and then like you just see their connection grow even harder. But it was just, it was so sad. Mm-hmm. Oh, what are you reading, Amber?
Oh, I was reading The Heart of Smoke, the male one.
Jessica,
and then I'm starting that Soul to Keep, that monster romance. I bought the audiobook because I've had it on my TBR for like 3 months and I still haven't read it, so I'm like doing it.
Oh yeah, I'm listening to a book too. I'm listening to Flowers from the Storm.
Who's that by?
Well, that's a great question. I can't look at because it's on my phone, but hold on, let me pull it up. It's a historical romance.
Oh, you don't normally go for historical.
I don't, but somebody said that I needed to read books with asylum, and I found this one.
Oh, okay. I'm going to try and do an asylum video.
I was going to say, should I pick a historical for my month, you guys? But I don't think you guys like historical romance.
That is a goal of mine this year, is to read.
I have no problem with it.
Because I haven't read anything historical. I think the only thing that I had on my TBR to read is the trilogy that you guys love by Talia Reid. Which is a little, it's not like,
I need to finish that. I read the
It's
first
historical.
2 and I still haven't finished.
What?
Yeah, my mother-in-law just finished the
Remember,
first
you
book.
started it already?
Wait, did I hear that right?
You started, and she read 2 of them.
I read 2 and then I went away from it, and I'm really bad with series. I go between series, and so
It's
and then
not
I
a
haven't
series,
gone back.
it's
So
not really
What do you
over.
think so far?
It's
so
like one
I will
book.
put the last. Is the third one the last one?
Yes.
Trilogy.
Okay, so I'll put that on my TBR for sure next month.
Yeah, because like
Did you like it at least? Like, yeah.
I did. I got frustrated with her more in the second book. The
The
heroine.
second book is a hard go.
Yeah,
it's hard.
yeah. So, but it wasn't like it's still beautiful writing. It's still really well done. Like the audiobook is really good.
Yes.
I just was like, I can't even say why I was frustrated because it would give things away.
It'll give too much away. Yeah.
Yeah, but I
It's a
was
hard
like, but it
series
wasn't
to
like
talk
I gave it like 4 stars. I think I gave the first one 5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you know me, when like a heroine gets like pisses me off, like it's almost like when you read Outlander and you get kind of frustrated with Claire. That's how I was feeling. I was like, come on, you have Jamie Fraser, like shut up.
Yeah, dude.
For real.
Just forget about Frank and just be with Jamie. Okay.
know.
What the hell's wrong with her?
Like, why? But he made her go. Anyway, okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
A whole different story. Yeah, I can't believe you haven't read last one. My mother-in-law, though, messaged me yesterday, and she's like, because I bought her The Surviving Trace for her birthday last March, and she's just finished reading it. Yeah, March, a year ago. And she's like, oh my gosh, because of you, I just had to go buy the other 2 books. I finally picked this up, and I went and bought the other 2. And I was like, good. What took you so long? What the heck? So she's like, if you have any other amazing recommendations, let me know. And I'm like,
are you going to wait a year to read them?
Wait a year?
Yeah, it took her a whole year.
I have an entire YouTube channel full of recommendations, woman.
Yeah.
Take your pick.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. I've been trying to get my mom to read Neva's like whole series forever, and so finally I put like them on her Kindle, and then she would keep like continuing another series. I'm like, get to that, please. Yeah. And now she couldn't put it down like the first book, and I was like, okay. I'm like, each book gets better. Like I always think like, okay, that one's my favorite. Like I just read the Bodyguard one, and I freaking loved it.
Yeah, each one gets
so
better.
Good. I'm still jealous that you have that whole series and those special editions.
I do.
They're gorgeous.
What?
They're so pretty.
Yeah, they are gorgeous. I have them, but I don't have the newest one, the one after the Bodyguard, because at the time that one hadn't released yet, or it just released that week. So that's on my wish list of physical books. But we're getting to a point where I don't know where I'm going to put books.
Maybe you'll be getting that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be getting that for my birthday. You never know. Never know.
What am I reading? I'm reading, let's see. What am I reading? Oh, I'm listening to and finishing up Mr. Hookup. Finally, I'm reading that book. Because I can't remember. I'll have to go look, but I feel like this may be my first, or maybe my first Marnie Man.
Okay.
I've only read one Marnie Man, and I wasn't nice to it, but I need to give her other chances.
Well,
I read The Lawyer.
This one, the one I read was the dark ones that she has, the animal.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. And
that is one of the ones I need to read for that video, is a darker one. But this one, I will admit that I started reading or listening to it, and I was like, meh. And I took like a couple weeks off because it just wasn't piquing my interest. But I was listening to it on my way somewhere yesterday, and immediately it like sparked, and I was like, oh, this just got hella interesting. Okay. So I want to finish it now because it got really interesting.
And I've noticed that with some books. I'll start them on the audio and I'll be like, I'm just not into this and I don't like it. And then there was one that I put off for over a year, and I finally went back to it. I can't remember what the book was, but I finally went back to it a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Why didn't I? But you just weren't in the mood for it, or just it didn't click at the time, but now it does. So
it was kind of like insta-lovey, and I was like, what the hell? I mean, is this how this is going to be? Like I'm not going to be able to deal with this. Yeah. And then something happened, and it was like, that was the part 1, and it was like part 2, and like jumped, and everything changed, and I was like, oh, okay, now I'm interested. Now I want more.
Yeah, good.
Oh, hold on, sorry. Okay,
that's the one that It's always, whenever people talk, even if it hurts, that's the same title as San Mariano too. But that's the one I've seen around that's like more emotional, I think. So I think I want to give that one a try, not like her billionaire like type of guys.
Did you like
have
it?
it on
This
my
is on my
shelf.
list too.
What was that?
Did you like it? Because this one's on my list too to read.
I haven't read it yet. Have you guys? I have it on my shelf.
That's what I heard. You said I have it on my shelf. I was like,
yeah. Oh yeah, no, I got it from her. We met her in Vegas, her and her husband, and I have it. I haven't read it though.
Jan's gonna read Legacy. Okay, we really have to read something by Laura Pavlov, Amber.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I like Laura Pavlov.
Yeah, I love that. I really enjoyed the Tessa Hale book. It's very quick. Like, honestly, I read it like super fast. I mean, obviously I listened to audiobook and it was like at a high speed, but like, and all the male narrators were just like, like it was perfection. Like, and she made each character like a good individual. Like, that's what's hard with reverse harem when like you have 5 guys to get them to all have like their own character and you can envision them in your mind. She really did a good job with that. So, but it's like the setup of the series, so it's not like a finished book, like, you know, it's just intro to them kind of.
Yeah, I get lost sometimes. It takes I mean, you have to be a really good author. Like, I feel like Grace Genty does this. She normally has 3 to 4 guys in her books, but they all have their own personalities and it's all laid out where I don't get confused. But like, there was one that I listened to this week and she had great narrators and they were all different guys that narrated. Even Teddy narrated one of them. But and again, it was post-apocalyptic and I'm already into something, you know, I was already into the spark of madness where I was like so sucked into it that it just didn't do it for me. And it was more smutty than plot heavy. So I was like, you know, it's just not working for me. There's nothing wrong with it. I think other people will really enjoy it. But for me, I was like, I can't differentiate between the guys and I'm just having a really hard time, even with different voices. So that's
why I think they have to like make these series most of the time, because they have to like slowly introduce, like kind of get each of the guys throughout the series. So they're all like different characters, but some of them really fail at that. And it's like, or it's just pure smut. Like,
I don't,
you know, so it's hard. Reverse harem can be kind of like tricky. I kind of like picky about which ones I like.
Well, because there's so many and you have to have, like, you got to go through all of them. So that's a lot of sex. You know what I mean? Like, where's the plot?
Jan, I agree with you. I like to wait till they're all out. I see that George Martin ruined you. Addison Kane ruined me. Addison Kane has a ton of books out in the series, and almost like none of them are finished. And it's been years and years and years, and she has not gone back and finished them. And you just get so sucked in, and then you're like, wait, where's the rest? And it's frustrating. So I'm the kind of the same way. I need to make sure that the author finishes these series before I go back.
Yeah. I remember when I first got into reading romance again, I read like KG Roos. She had this is like the first reverse harem I read, and it like totally sucked me in and I was like obsessed, but I didn't know that the series wasn't finished and it was like taking forever in between each book. And I'm like, I'm never doing this again. I'm like, and so she had like other series coming out and I'm like, okay, let me look at when each book is publishing, because I'm not reading it till all the books in the reverse harem are out, because I don't want to wait a year for like the 3rd book. No, like I'm not doing it. Oh yeah, Adelaide Forrest, I think she still hasn't finished the Blondie Syndicate, which like she's writing other stuff, and I'm like, is she gonna finish that? Because she was teasing certain characters in that, and I want their romance.
Yep.
So
not good about that. Well, and then like, you want her Mafia?
Yeah, Mafia.
Okay. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, I love, you know, ACOTAR and From Blood and Ash or whatever. Those are great, but they're not finished. And so whenever a new one comes out, like right now, Sarah J. Maas has a new book that just came out, and these books are thick, right? So I gotta go back and reread, because it's been over a year, possibly 2, since that book came out, and I have to remember what happened. Even though it's a favorite, I just have to remember what happened, and that's just
that's hard. It's really hard with fantasy, because it's like all these like side characters, names, locations. It's like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to, like, I only read the first 2 in ACOTAR. And then I'm like, okay, well, that's my goal. I want to finish that series this year. But I'm like, well, now I got to go back and reread the first 2. Like, but
that you remember.
So, see, I haven't read those since 2016. So, I mean, like, that's why I haven't finished the last book. Because I'm like, I have to go and read all these chunky bitches before I can get to that one. Because, like, I mean, I remember it, but I don't, you know.
Yeah.
those
Yeah, there's
Well,
lots of little details like you're gonna miss.
Yeah. I've re-listened to ACOTAR a few different times where I could do it with ACOTAR. I could just jump into it. But Crescent City I haven't read yet because it's not finished. And I didn't want to start that. And then from Blood and Ash, I read the first 3 books in the From Blood and Ash series. Love it. But then it was at the end of it, and I was like, where's the next one? And it was like, oh, 2 years from now. And I was like, Mother Bear, 2 years. So then when the book did come out last year, whenever it was, about this time last year, I was like, I don't have time to go back and reread all 3 of those books to remember every little detail. Yeah. I got other stuff I'm reading right now. So
and Megan, I did read. That's why I stopped reading after the second book on the ACOTAR, because they were on Anyplay, but they only had 2 parts of, like, because it was split into 3 parts for the third book, but they didn't have all 3 parts on Anyplay. So I was like, oh, I'll wait. But they like still didn't put them out, and so I'm like, okay, I'm just using credits, and I'm getting all the graphic audios for like on Audible, because and I was really annoyed because they went on sale like when they had that big sale, and I didn't notice till like way later, and I wish I would have just bought them because I think they were like $4 or something. And I'm like, because the graphic audio was so amazing.
Yeah,
like the cast of characters.
Yeah.
So they're
I should do that. I missed out on that sale too, so
I already had them.
I should listen on Hoopla. Have you tried?
Oh, I don't have Hoopla, and I pay for too many things. Like,
yeah, like we all do.
Yeah,
I know. I'm like, how many book subscription crap do I have?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Mandy's awfully quiet. She's just listening.
She's probably watching football.
She probably is.
I'm not.
What's the score, Mandy?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, we'll get off so you can go watch it.
Okay.
Did you guys announce the book that you guys were doing?
No, that's what they're, and then Mandy can go watch her football.
Yeah.
Okay. So for February, we're going to read The Summer You Found Me by Elizabeth O'Rourke. And we're going to do it February 18th. It'll be on Bestie Book Reviews channel, 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern. It's a Sunday. No football. Football will be over. So sad.
Hallelujah. Yeah. No more.
But I'm very excited about this book.
So
it is a standalone. It's part of the summer series, but it is a standalone. You do not have to have read the other books. In fact, I read one of the books in the series already, and the characters are like pretty far removed from each other.
Okay.
So
good.
I can't remember if I read the first in that series, or it might have been a different series of hers. Like, I can't even remember.
The Summer You Saved Me, or is it Summer I Saved You?
The Summer You Found Me.
I don't know.
You Found Me. Oh, it's The Summer I Saved. That's the second book. I'm sorry. Sorry, Megan.
Yeah.
The third book. Yeah, we'll put it all out there.
Have you read her time travel series?
No, I want to read that.
Oh,
it's good.
It's on my list.
Yeah, it's good.
I've read everything I've read from her. She just like amazes me.
Yeah, she's a great author.
She blows me away each time how like emotional I get. There's always a point where I get really emotional because it's just so good.
Yeah.
I just finished The Devil Gets His Due. I really like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
good.
I haven't read that series either. It's another one. She's one of my authors that I want to read a lot more of this year. So that's why I was like, yes, you picked a good one.
Yeah. All right.
So that is it. That's it.
Hey.
All right.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us for the Tryst.
For the Tryst. All right.
See everybody in February.
Yep.
Yes, February 18th.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. End.